Ready when you are, big guy. Ready when you are. CB. LaVille Lancer football is back on the air. It's week 2 of the Indiana High School Athletic Association State Football Tournament. Last week in the first round, the Class 2A number 12 ranked LaVille Lancers defeated Wabash 44-21. That was the first time in school history LaVille and Wabash ever met on the gridiron. Colby Watts rushed 21 times for 178 yards and 3 scores to lead the Lancer offense. Andrew Dill, he hit the goal line twice last week, and Aiden Doyle hit pay dirt after turning a would-be sack into a 31-yard TD scramble. Bremen advanced to the second round with a 21-14 victory over Manchester. The Lions come in 3-7 overall. LaVille and Bremen played way back in week number 1. That's been a whole season ago plus some, with LaVille scoring 27 unanswered points in a 27-7 victory at Don J. Bungie Field. It's Bremen and LaVille for the right to advance to the Class 2A Sectional 34 championship game against either number 1 ranked Lewis Cass or Rochester. Tonight, it is IHSAA State Tournament Football. I'm Scott Shear. Good evening and welcome to LVH1. Wayne Thomas joins me for tonight's broadcast. Tonight's game is brought to you by Union North United School Corporation and LVH1. We're going to take a timeout, come back, and we'll break down tonight's matchup as Bremen battles LaVille for a chance to go for a sectional championship. This is LaVille Lancer football on LVH1.
Is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's.
Sir?
This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Indiana. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
I don't think of this as a high school weight room. It's more like a high school classroom. I'm learning how to manage my time here. I'm learning that it's important to have goals and that it takes persistence and commitment to reach them. And I'm learning that the best way to lead is by example.
Indiana High School Sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
A crisp October evening. A stadium filled with fans. A pass thrown. A journey completed. State of euphoria? No. The state of Indiana. High school sports. Pure spirit. Pure sport. Pure Indiana. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
Back to Lancer Field. Tonight it's round number 2, or the semifinal round, however you care to look at it, in the IHSAA sectional blind draw pairings for football. There's actually 3. It takes 3 weeks to win the sectional, and we've completed week number 1. Last week, we'll start at the top of the bracket, and we'll work our way down and work our way into today's pairings. Last week, Lewis Cass defeated Pioneer 43-8. Rochester defeated Delphi 43-22. Bremen defeated Manchester 21-14. And LaVille defeated Wabash 44-21. This is week number 2, second step in that 3-step process to win a sectional championship in football. Week number 2 has Lewis Cass, who was home last week, facing Rochester, who was also home last week. So we're going to give you a little bit of a bracket lesson in football. Okay, Mr. Thomas, go ahead and flop down your...
The bracket 101, is that what we're doing?
This is called the Football Bracketology 101, okay, taught by Professor Shear. So when you look at those two, each of them played a home game last week, okay? So because each of them played a home game last week, now the deferring process is you look at who the bottom team on the bracket is. Rochester is below Lewis Cass, so Rochester gets another home game. So they, like us, would get back-to-back home games because Bremen, they were home last week. They advance, they are above us, and so LaVille, being on the bottom part of the bracket, goes to the bottom part of the bracket, and so now they, Bremen, travels here, So now it's Bremen at LaVille for this particular week. Now next week, okay, we'll take a peek into our what do you call that? What kind of glass is that? Take a look
the
in
crystal ball.
There we go. The crystal ball. That's not glass. Well, it is kind of a glass. But we'll take a look into the crystal ball. Okay. Lewis Cass wins because they were on the road this week. And if LaVille wins, we were home. So because Lewis Cass has had less home games than LaVille, we would have to go to Walton, Indiana, which if you take a trip straight down 31 South, go down by the Grissom Air Force Base, and you're going to go west, okay? It's about, I think it's probably about a 70-minute drive or so, 75-minute drive down 31, a little bit to the west. Should Rochester pull the upset of Class 2A number 1 ranked Lewis Cass tonight, then Rochester, because they have had 2 home games, and because we have had 2 home games, you would defer to the bracket. Bottom team on the bracket gets the home game. We could be home for 3 weeks in a row.
But they have to take care of business first.
They do. They do. And tonight we play the Bremen Lions, not to advance anybody to any part of the bracket or to next week's championship game. But I will tell you this. This is a Bremen Lion football team partner that comes back more healthy than they've been the entire season. And even though LaVille did win 27-7 way back in week number 1, as we talked about in the intro, even though that victory did happen, new team here, new ball game, hard to beat a team twice.
It is, and when we played them, they'd had a lot of seniors that had graduated. This was kind of a new team gelling a little bit, figuring out where everyone's at. They have an entire season under their belt. They've been playing a lot harder these past few weeks. Their record may not show it, but if you look at some of the stats that they put up, this rushing game is really strong with a couple of the kids that got back there.
Absolutely does. Ethan Nunemaker, he's going to be the guy, the 5'9", 160-pound sophomore quarterback that's going to run the show. Call the signals, if you will. Fullback Bryce Wogeman, along with tailback Brady Ginter. They're going to give the LaVille defense a challenge tonight. There's basically going to be a lot of opportunity tonight for the LaVille Lancer defense, who stepped up many, many times this week, or this year, to step up this week.
Yeah, we're going to ask them to do the same thing they've done all season one more time, kind of on the biggest stage that they've had up to this point.
Absolutely. Bremen comes in with a 3-7 record. They are 1-3 on the road. The LaVille Lancers, they are 8-2 overall, as we take a look at the records here. The Lancers here at home have beaten Triton. Then they lost to Pioneer, beaten Winnemac, lost to Knox, beat Culver, beat Wabash. So 4-2 at home this year, while Bremen is 1-3 on the road.
Wow, that lines up a little bit in our favor, right?
Absolutely does. And if you look at it, for the first time, to my knowledge in recent history, we got to play, after playing at Bremen and winning 27-7, we played 3 straight weeks at home. That is a schedule oddity when a team plays at home in football 3 consecutive weeks.
And it definitely wasn't an easy one either. We had some really strong teams in there that put up a lot of offensive numbers, and we had to really struggle to get the wins we did. So this team has really challenged itself to have the record we do today.
Absolutely, and the defense has been a major, major cog in that. Let's talk about the defense a little bit. And you take a look at this defense that is 23rd in the state of Indiana, and that's all classes, with the 23rd best defense in the state of Indiana. And when you're allowing just 11.3 points per ball game, that says something about your defense. You've got a couple of shutouts to your credit. You've held 6 teams to single digits during that process. And Wabash last week, it took them a while to figure things out, but once again, the score of the game, we're up 3 scores. We're kind of in a prevent defense, if you will, a little bit. Coach is trying to get some other folks into the ball game. And so in doing that, Wabash was able to move the football down the field successfully and put some points on the board. And once they were able to figure out a couple of the weak areas that the LaVille defense had, then they were able to get themselves in the end zone and keep it within 2 scores, but it never got closer than that, as we were able to escape 44-21.
Yeah, this kind of a bend but don't break defense. They may get closer to the end zone, but this defense really never gives up. and they continue that pressure until they finally force some sort of turnover, whether it be on downs or getting the ball back into our own hands with an interception or fumble. There were a lot of fumbles last week that went out in Wabash's favor.
You talk about, you know, the front seven of this LaVille defensive unit. You know, it all starts up front with the nose tackle, Jake Martin. Then you've got James Betcher and Tyler Student at the defensive tackles. And then you move into the second layer, if you will, of the defense, that linebacking core where you have Aiden Doyle and Trent Brooks, Robbie Pope, and Evan Betcher. So that front seven has really had to hold a lot of responsibility. And then, you know, you look at the guys that are in the deep secondary where you're going to find Jimmy Fisher, Trent Woods, Leighton Zarnecki, you know, Connor Mangus. Those guys, along with several other subs that rotate in and out of the Lancer defense, and you're going to see right away this is a pretty cohesive and strong unit for us defensively.
And a smart unit, too. I mean, we've got two quarterbacks back there. We've got a quarterback playing linebacker with Aiden, and then Leighton Zarnecki has some quarterbacking skills under there, pulling back there at safety.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll get ready for kickoff. You're listening and watching LVH1.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana high school sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
Thank you. Good evening, football fans, and welcome again to Lancer Stadium on the campus.
Hey, Lancer fans! Advertising spots are available today with LVH1. Advertising with LVH1 at LaVille Junior Senior High School gives you business publicity with high school parents, fans, and families throughout the state of Indiana and beyond.
Advertisements can be provided by your business or made in-house by our mass media class at the high school.
All the funding goes directly to the student program and will help us gain hands-on experience in the broadcasting, video editing, and marketing fields.
If you're interested in advertising during athletic events throughout the year, please contact the broadcasting program at broadcasting@unorth.k12.in.us or call us at 574-784-3151.
Advertise today with LVH1, the voice of Lancer Nation.
High school. Tonight, it's round number 2 of the IHSAA State Football Tournament. The Bremen Lions traveling to Lakeville, just down the road. It's about a 10, 11-mile trip or so, Wayne. And so this rivalry has gone, this is actually game number 50 in the series. Bremen has won 39. LaVille has won 10. And this is game number 50. I bet you didn't know that. That's probably a rare known fact. I would probably say that if we talked about that in the press box here along press row, I would say that there's probably not very many people that knew that.
No, I would have thought that as close as we are proximity-wise that we played a few more times, and I would have wanted the number to be a little bit more in our favor, but it does feel a little lopsided right now.
Absolutely, and it would be a little bit higher except for when the teams exchanged conferences, if you will. LaVille joined the Hoosier North. Bremen ended up joining the Northern Indiana Conference, and there was an interruption in the series for about 4 years. And so now the good thing is administrations were able to work out the schedules and get things going back again. And so now, you know, the two local rivals for LaVille, being John Glenn and Bremen, are back on the regular season football schedule.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the community members are excited to get to see those games again. That was a big talk a few years back.
Absolutely. So the football players are out for the coin toss now as we get ready to figure out who's going to get the ball first. You know, and the strategy starts right now. The strategy starts with who's going to defer. So LaVille receives a football. So Bremen defers to the second half, and so the Lancers are going to get the ball first. And let me ask you this. Last week, we saw LaVille defer, get the ball first, and guess what we did? Onside kick to open the football game.
Are you looking at my notes? I was going to ask you about the onside kick because it started both halves. Both halves start with an onside kick.
It certainly did. Wabash tried the same thing to start half number 2 last week. And in fact, in talking to Coach Hostrauser after the football game, he said, you know, we kind of expected that because, you know, they have nothing to lose. They have a season to gain. And so in doing so, we said, guys, we have to be ready for the potential of the onside kick to start this half. And lo and behold, we come out and they tried it, and we had our Sure Hands team out there. You know, I'm not going to call it the hands team. I'm calling it the Sure Hands team because they all put spray, stick them on their hands, and they just grabbed that ball and made sure that nobody was going to get it.
That's not true.
Colby Watts and Andrew Dill are deep for the Lancers.
Lancers don't have hands team up. Right now we have 5 guys. We're in our traditional kickoff return coverage right now. Colby Watts, Andrew Dill, and they're sticking around about the 15-yard line or so.
You know the Lions, though, on Monday and Tuesday were watching that footage, and they were saying, we know what's coming now, and the trick play is out of the bag. It's no longer a trick play.
Absolutely. So as the Bremen Lions tee things up, our kicker is Bryce Wogeman, and the field as it goes from right to left, the right side of your radio dial being the north end zone, and then the left side being the south. Here we are picked up at the 20, to the 25, to the 30. This is Colby Watts to the 25, breaks a tackle to the 30, gets up to the 40 where the kicker's the guy that saves the touchdown.
And we met last time. Bremen got the ball first. They scored that quick touchdown with their running game. They kicked the ball, and Colby Watts returned it for a touchdown.
Yep.
And I didn't want to say it before this because I didn't want to be the guy that jinxed it. But here he was again, and had he gotten by that kicker, there was a lot of real estate in front of him.
Absolutely. 1st and 10. Ball sits at the 42-yard line on the Bremen side of the 50. Talk about the offense here. Right after this first play, Aiden Doyle is our quarterback, been our quarterback all season. Running the controls for the Lancers. Little pitch. Pitch out there to Watts. Watts looking for a couple of blocks, gets those, and gets a good solid 9 yards, setting up 2nd and short.
Something Watts does a lot better than what he did a couple of years ago. He's always been lightning fast out there on the football field, but he does such a better job now of seeing the holes develop. So it used to be he knew the play and he ran the play, and if it didn't go well, it didn't go well. Today you can see he actually audibles a little bit. He shifts over to his right to find that new hole and breaks that way. Really shows the maturity that he's developed out there on the football field.
2nd down and 1. Ball sits at the Bremen 33. Here's another pitch. Now we're going to, this is kind of like student body left, student body right now, as we're going to get plenty for the first down is Watts. Watts started the drive last week with 2 consecutive carries and ripped off huge runs, 30-plus yards, and then had a 12-yard plus run as Wabash quickly got dented with their defense. That's going to be a rushing first down for the Lancers. So 1st down and 10, ball sitting at about the 29-yard line.
That Watts back sweep is just so dangerous because you don't know which side he's going to.
Absolutely.
He's willing to cut across the field.
So now we've overloaded to the near side. Mangus in motion to the far side. Here's Watts again. Tries to go up the middle, and he's not going to get anything. No gain on that play.
Watts again on the carry up the middle.
So 2nd and 10.
Tackle by Grant Kaufman. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
This LaVille offense, led by the offensive unit of tackles, Jacob Hominick, James Betcher. The guards are A.J. Bedock and Garrett Wagner. And the center is Alexis Alvarado. And those guys have played huge and been huge the entire season.
Yeah, they've been great. That offensive line has really come together. I know we missed Alvarado for a couple weeks, and seeing him come back, you can see the weeks he was gone.
Screen pass out to Dill. Dill gets a tackle and gets into the open, and he's going to go to the end zone. Andrew Dill on a 29-yard touchdown pass.
What a weapon.
And a Lancer touchdown.
So 4 plays in 42 yards, and that took off about 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
And we just have so many playmakers out there. You have to be careful with Watts in the backfield, but you've got Andrew Dill. You've got Emery Fisher coming in as a receiver. There's just no way that you can protect everything that they have going out there on offense.
There's so many weapons. You're exactly right. Ball down in the hands of Watts. Kick is up, and the kick is true. Leighton Zarnecki tacks on point number 7. 9:50 to go. Lancers take the ball and put it in the end zone. Lancers 7, Bremen 0. We're back with more on LVH1. 30-second break.
I don't think of this as a high school weight room. I'm learning how to manage my time here. I'm learning that it's important to have goals and that it takes persistence and commitment to reach them. And I'm learning that the best way to lead is by example.
Indiana High School Sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
Back to Lancer Field, and the LaVille Lancers make quick work of the Bremen defense, going 42 yards in 4 plays, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And Colby Watts set up all of this by going 9 yards, 4 yards. He was stopped for no gain, but then a nice little screen pass out to the left side, got some great blocking, and just basically used his speed to outrun everybody to the end zone.
He chips away at that defense. He goes to the left, he goes to the right, he goes up the middle, and then we pass the ball. How do you protect against that?
Absolutely. This ball is kicked by Leighton Zarnecki down to the 10-yard line where it's picked up. There's a penalty flag down, and Leighton Zarnecki is going to be the man once again. The safety valve making the tackle are the 2 kickers in both kickoff situations. Penalty flag sits around the 15-yard line where we're waiting to see, you know, probably holding, blocking the back. Yep, blocking the back. So that's going to be...
Penalty against Bremen is holding.
We talk about all these weapons. I think Leighton Zarnecki may be one of my favorites. Just as consistent as he is with his foot, coming out there, he can pin them back deep after a punt or a score. Consistent on the field goals. And on that time, he was even consistent on getting the tackle to stop it.
So we're going to start at about the 8-yard line, maybe? 7 or 8. We're calling it the 7.
Ball's at the Bremen 7-yard line, 1st and 10 line.
Okay, the Bremen offense coming out as we talked about with quarterback Ethan Nunemaker. Man in motion to the far side is Bennett. Wogelman gets the ball. Wogelman's one of their go-to guys. In fact, he's the one that scored the touchdown against us in week number 1.
Yeah, he's the one that got that really quick one. I don't have my notes in front to say how quick it was. It was just a couple minutes into the game they scored that first touchdown.
Ball right at the Bremen 10-yard line.
Give him 3 yards on the carry, so 2nd and 7.
I'd imagine we're going to say that name a few times tonight.
That one along with Ginder.
This one's the I formation that they're running this time, but it didn't get anything.
So it's going to be 3rd and short as Wogelman. He's going to pick up a couple more. Actually, 3rd and about 4.
That really shows just how dangerous that penalty was. They can't do anything too risky when you're in the shadow of your own scoreboard back there.
3rd down and 4.
So they have to just get a few yards at a time with a little bit of ISO like that, trying to go up the gut. Just want to talk to Coach, see what Coach is telling him to do to get another 4 yards here.
So 3rd down and 4. It is a manageable 4. Not necessarily a passing situation, but Lancers definitely look and run, and the Lancers stuff out a huge play right there.
Oh, they were all over that one. And that looked like Trent Woods got in there to finally polish it off.
And that's a huge start for this Lancer football team, because not only do you take the first possession of the game and put it in the end zone, you also stuff them on virtually 3 and out.
Yeah, and that's going to do a great thing, too, for the field position battle. We're going to be in a lot closer than what we need to be now.
Walgeman will be back to punt.
Punter is Bryce Walgeman for the LaVille Lions, for the LaVille Lancers. We're playing the Lions tonight at Bremen. Here's the boot. Nice kick, sending him back to about the 50-yard line. He bobbles it, picks it up, 45-40, and that's about the farthest he's going to get. Where it's going to be Lancer football, first down and 10. 7:21 to go. We'll take a 30-second timeout. This is LVH1.
Beasley.
A crisp October evening. A stadium filled with fans. A pass through. A journey completed. State of euphoria? No. The state of Indiana.
Back to Lancer Field. Lancer start possession number 2. Looks like there's some movement upon the line, and we'll see if this is offsides. It is an offside call against the Bremen Lions. So LaVille basically starting at about the same territory as they did last time at the 42. This time they started at the 39, and they're going to get a free 5 yards. That's going to set up first down and 5 from the Bremen 34-yard line.
And this is already a lot different game from last week. If you remember, we didn't get the first flag until about 2 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, very much so. Clock still has not started. We picked up 5 yards off the penalty. Here's a little reverse to Dill. Dill getting a block on the outside, and once again he's going to race himself to the end zone. Did you see who had that block on the far side?
I didn't catch that number.
34-yard run by Andrew.
I'm looking right now. It's right here in front of us. The block was by Mangus. Mangus on the block. Connor Mangus picks up the huge block to allow Andrew Dill to cut back and score.
The second quick score in a row for him. And he's only a junior. We're going to see him again over and over and over. Coach Hostrauser is going to have a lot of fun with.
Ball down, kick is up, kick is good. There's going to be a rough of the kicker as Leighton Zarnecki gets run into. So Zarnecki gives LaVille 14-0 lead.
There's a flag on the play.
And that's going to be adjusted on the kickoff. We're going to keep things right here. You know, and as we replay that particular play, as Dill ends up getting the football, Dill ends up going around that left side again. So that's 2 times where we've had 2 plays to go off the left side to end up with points. This time, a key block by Connor Mangus.
Yeah, and I can't really read coach's mind. I'm sure you want to score every time that you grab the ball, but I would imagine it was just like the first time where it was hoping to chip away at him a little bit to open up a big play, and instead Dill just broke that wide open, and Connor Mangus came out to really put that final nail in and help him get to where he was.
Well, and as you look at this offensive lineup for the LaVille Lancers, not only, you know, we've talked about Colby Watts. Last week, he busted loose for $178 and 3 scores. You know, you have Andrew Dill, you have Aiden Doyle, you have Robbie Pope, who we've not called yet tonight. It'll be interesting to see what happens when he gets his hands on the football.
We haven't had a chance with 4 plays.
Exactly. Well, and we also have Aiden Doyle, who can throw the football as well, and when he tucks the ball, he's not afraid. Is this going to go into the end zone for another touchback? I believe that's number 22 now for touchbacks. See if we can get some updates here around the state. Go ahead.
We just have so many players on that field that can run the ball, like you'd said. Aiden Doyle just remains calm and confident no matter what comes back there. Just keeps a cool head, and he can throw the ball or even run it if nothing opens up for him.
This score from Rochester in the opposite bracket, Lewis Cass 7, Rochester 0 in the first quarter. Nunemaker, hands off.
That looked like Dingus got the ball that time.
Hand off to Blake Dingus.
Blake Dingus is a 6'2", 200-pound running back.
Tackle by Jacob Humenick. Pickup of 2 on the play. Second down.
I am
and
also
8.
6'2".
Ball is at the Bremen 22-yard
Nice.
I am
line.
not 200 pounds or a running back, but he plays linebacker too, so I think he can probably put a little bit of a smack on that run when he needs to.
Now there's a back to either side of Nunemaker. This ball is fumbled, mis-snapped, handed off, however you want to do it. And right now Bremen looks like they are a little unorganized on the offensive side of the football.
14-yard line.
Nunemaker goes over to
Third down and 16.
Coach Leeper and says, let's get things under control. You know, we got to make sure what we're doing and what play we're calling. So that's going to be a fumble not lost.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier, is there were a few fumbles last week that the other team was able to recover, and tonight they're already recovering their own. Something that Bremen didn't have to contend with last time. And here they go deep.
Ball open is, or ball up to Nunemaker, from Nunemaker out there to Hunter Bennett, the 5'11" wide receiver, 170-pound junior. He was wide open, and that's going to get the Bremen Lions near midfield on a big passing first down.
Yeah, something we did not have to contend with last time is how cold it was. When we played earlier, it was so earlier in the season. That was still a nice, pretty night. I remember the sun setting as we were playing the game, and it was so warm. Tonight it's a little colder, makes that ball harder to handle. Not for Hunter Bennett, though. He pulled that one in like a champ.
29-yard gain. Wogelman gets the ball and goes up the middle, where he's tackled by a host of Lancers.
Bryce Wogelman on the carry.
Gets the ball up to about the 40, where are we going to put it? 44-yard line. Sorry, the 49-yard line. Pick up 6. I looked at the wrong yard line. So 2nd and 4.
And when you have a big play like that, that's going to help open up their run game a lot.
Absolutely. This is an important drive for the LaVille Lancer defense. You know, it's not like you can relax after scoring 2. Here's a ball handoff to Wogelman again. There's a penalty flag in the backfield, thrown on the far side of the field. Almost looks like this could be illegal shift time, meaning more than one person moving at a time. Yep, illegal shift against Bremen.
Illegal shift.
So that's a 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. So that'll set up 2nd down and 9 at the 44.
Ball go back to the Bremen 44-yard line. 2nd down and 9.
We just sent Garrett Wagner out onto the field, getting one of our freshmen some playing time.
Clock is rolling, 4:50 to go. Lancers 2 possessions, 2 scores. And now this is possession number 2 for the Bremen Lions, who won the toss, deferred, and kicked to LaVille to start the ball game. Here's Nunemaker. Nunemaker on the far side.
Pass complete to Sam Huffman.
Sam Huffman came down. It took 2 tackles to bring him down, though.
Tackle by Brooks and
he was going to drag a Lancer into the opposing fans.
Pick up a 1 on the play. Ball is at the Bremen 45-yard line.
That's going to be 3rd and long.
3rd down and 8.
So far, Bremen 0 for 1 on 3rd down conversions. The last time they tried Wogelman on a 3rd down and 3, and he got nowhere, forcing Bremen to punt. So 0 for 1 so far on the night. LaVille has not had to attempt a 3rd down conversion. Nunemaker looking for his man, eyes him, turns around, goes the opposite direction, and Huffman catches the football inside LaVille territory at the 45-yard line.
What great composure. He had hands in his face that whole time.
Out of bounds at the LaVille 45-yard line. 1st and 10, Bremen.
So a big 10-yard play, and you know what? The thing on that one was Nunemaker put the ball where nobody, or excuse me, yeah, Nunemaker put the ball where nobody but Huffman was going to catch that ball.
And he extended the play. He should have been down several seconds before that and ended up making the play happen.
Ginter gets this one after the fake to Wolgeman, and Ginter is going to get maybe a yard.
Alexis Alvarado.
Ginter, a 5'8", 165-pound junior.
Second down and 9.
Looks like they did give him 1 yard on the play. So second and 9. Noonemaker tosses near side. This one intended for Bennett, and Bennett off his fingertips falls incomplete, setting up third down and 9.
He'd stretched out for it.
Well, and Wayne, that was just simply, you know, I'm going to go down, take my 5 to 7 yards. I'm going to go down, do a little quick out, you know, and just try to pick up some yards to make this a third and manageable. Instead, the ball was just a little bit wide. It was actually farther toward the sideline than what Bennett actually made his cut and his stop. And so the ball falls incomplete, setting up third and 9 at the 44.
Most of those black jerseys should be pretty happy with that because he was open.
He was open. Noonemaker over, but this one's going to be behind Bennett. And so a great rush that time. That was Aiden Doyle in on the pressure defense. And this is going to be fourth down and 9. So now what does Jordan Leeper do? Jordan Leeper is going to, looks like he's going to send the punt team out.
Going to play it safe. This is still early in the game. There's no reason to take a huge risk on anything.
Colby Watts is deep for the Lancers. Wolgeman will punt for Bremen.
Wolgeman in the punting formation here for the Bremen Lions. Colby Watts back for LaVille. And the whistle blows this one dead. Dead ball. Little movement there on the Bremen Lions. That's their third flag already.
Penalty against Bremen.
Yeah, they're really kind of walking over themselves right now.
Move the ball back to the 49-yard line.
And they had Colby kind of pinned back with that punt. Now he's going to have a little bit more room back there to breathe.
Well, and last time they kicked it away from him. We'll see if they choose to kick the ball away from him again. You know, he's actually more closer to the Bremen sideline, which is the far side of the field, than he is on our side. This one's going to go up, and the ball is going to bounce and take a Bremen bounce down to about the 21-yard line.
And you were right, they did kick away from Colby that time.
So a 40-yard punt
First and 10, LaVille.
with 2:52 to go here in the first quarter is going to give the ball back to the LaVille Lancers.
And with about 3 minutes to go, we're up 14-0 here in the first quarter still.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks to our kids for coming out tonight and, you know, battling the weather temperature tonight, not so much the elements. We're sitting next to South Bend Tribune writer Mr. Finneran over here, and he reminded us the last time he was here, that ball falls just out of the hands of Colby Watts as he's racing up the near sideline at the 50-yard line. Ball falls incomplete, setting up second and 10, but he was reminding us, Mr. Finneran was reminding us that the last time he was here, he saw more lightning in the sky than lightning on the field.
Those are memories I don't want to relive.
Oh, me neither.
Yeah, I am happy to have the kids here. We've got Jake Zeiger running the show tonight. We've got Jamie Bush running a camera, Noah Kuski. And I've got Elena Franz running around with another camera too. It's a pretty good crew tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks, kids, for coming out and doing your thing. Doyle going to hand the ball off. Is that Pope?
That looked like Pope.
So Pope on the short gain, setting up third down at about the 24-yard line. So gain of third and 7.
2 on the play. Third down and 8.
Three receivers on the far side of the field. Looks like we're going to come back to this side, and this one's going to one-hop in front of Andrew Dill. Incomplete. Andrew really never had a chance as Doyle kind of short-armed that one, setting up 4th down and 7. And the Lancers will punt for the first time, or at least line up in punting situation for the first time tonight.
I don't foresee them doing any sort of trickery as close as they are to the opposing end zone here. But I get paid to sit in the press box and not out on the sidelines for a reason.
Hunter Bennett back to receive the punt. That's going to be roughing the kicker. And if the Lancers can get on the football, which they do, that's going to be, you know what? We're going to deny roughing the punter as the ball touched Hunter Bennett back at about the 25-yard line. And he had to run after the football, and alertly, we pursued it and recovered it.
That is declined by the Lancers. LaVille will take over.
Very heads-up play on everybody there.
Looked like it was Aiden Doyle. Am I wrong? Hey, did Aiden fall on that?
Yeah, that was Aiden Doyle.
I think it was 10.
Yep, Aiden Doyle came down on that one.
Okay, LaVille Lancers with the football. So $1:52 to go. How quickly things change. So 1st and 10 for the Lancers at the Bremen 13-yard line.
Bremen pen deep for the 2nd time tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we still have our official wandering around. Somebody asking for an explanation, or because we're actually getting an explanation from the official for some reason.
I think
so roughing the kicker, which is what we had. So, so that's actually applied to this particular play, is that right?
Roughing the kicker penalty is applied after the recovery of the football.
So now we're 1st and goal at the 9.
The Bremen 9-yard line.
All right. So that just moved us a few yards closer to the end zone. 1st and goal.
1st and goal, Lancers.
Here's the pitch. This is out to Andrew Dill, who goes untouched into the end zone for a touchdown. Mr. Dill touches the ball 3 times, and Mr. Dill goes into the end zone 3 times tonight, and it's 20-0 LaVille.
And 2 of those 3 were that same looking formation. The little pitch, jet sweep off to the left.
That was a weird sequence of events. I mean, yeah, we're talking about it up here in the press box, how badly that was for Bremen, but you have roughing the punter, you have your punt return man who touches the football, and then LaVille recovers, and then the penalty is actually, enforced. This kick is good by Zarnecki, and so it's $1:46 to go. And LaVille is on top 21-0. We'll take a timeout as well. You're listening to LaVille Lancer Football and watching on LVH1.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana high school sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
Hunter Bennett deep for Bremen.
Back to Lancer Field, where the LaVille Lancers have basically turned this into the Andrew Dill show. He touched the ball basically about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times tonight and scored 3 touchdowns. Here's the boot. Leighton Zarnecki. This one's picked up by Bennett. Bennett at the 10 to the 20, 25. Looking for a block, trying to get around the right side. Gets a couple of blocks before being pushed out right around the 35-yard line. Here's an update. The bracket above us, we're in sectional 34. An update, first quarter update, Lewis Cass leads Rochester 14-3.
Yeah, we're about the end of the first quarter here, 21-0 so far. Solid defense for sure. Andrew Dill showed. Scored a few touchdowns. That first one, it looked like Colby Watts opened up for him. After that, it's just been Connor Mangus getting a key tackle.
And Nunemaker. Man goes out to the far side. There's a screen set up over the middle to Huffman. Huffman's going to get to the 45 to the 50. Tries to break a tackle. Who's the man that brought him down? Is that Leighton Zarnecki?
Tackle by
Leighton Zarnecki.
Leighton Zarnecki on the touchdown, potential touchdown saving tackle.
Ball all the way down to the LaVille 43-yard line.
Yeah, he came all the way up. Out of crosshairs, the strong safety to save us from 6 points.
So ball's 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. 21-yard gain. Nunemaker near side. This one's caught by Bennett. Bennett on a leaping catch. Had to use every piece of the end of his fingers to catch that one. Going to be about a 5-yard gain.
37-yard line.
He's marked out on the rosters as an athlete, and I'd say that term definitely fits for what he's doing tonight.
Absolutely. 2nd and 5, so gain of 5.
Now, when you played, what did they call you on the roster?
Well, it was more of an end. Tight end. Of course, that's been way back. That's a long time ago.
Cut. They called me cut.
Cut.
Tackle by Aiden Doyle.
Okay. So Ginter on the carry. That's going to be 3rd down at about the 36-yard line. Gain of 2. So 3rd and 3. I was more of a wide receiver kind of a guy. I wasn't. Caught 1 touchdown pass in my life. That was it.
End of the first quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter. LaVille 21 and Bremen nothing. We'll take this 1-minute timeout. You're listening and watching LVH1.
A crisp October evening. A stadium filled with fans. A pass thrown. A journey completed. State of euphoria? No. The state of Indiana. High school sports. Pure spirit. Pure sport. Pure Indiana. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community. There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Indiana are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Back to Lancer Field, we were just joking around up here, wanting to know who scored all the touchdowns for the Lancers tonight. So far, it's been Andrew Dill. 6 carries, 3 touchdowns. Bremen with the football now, 3rd and 3 at the 36. Start of the second quarter.
And the Lions do what they've kind of done, how they started out the first quarter, run, run, run. And that was Dingus again, their big linebacker / running back.
Tackle by Fisher and Brooks. No gain in the play. 4th down and 3.
So 4th down and 3, no gain on the play for Dingus. And being down 3 scores inside the 40-yard line, Coach Leeper says we got nothing to lose and potentially our season to gain, and he's going to be short.
Did you see who was in the backfield that time?
Did
Aiden
not.
Doyle again.
Aiden Doyle again. That was Wogeman. And Wogeman is short.
First down, the ball will be at the 35-yard line.
And this is just such a hard team to run against. Jake Martin, Tyler Student, James Betcher up there on the line. They do not give up a lot of running yards.
First down and 10 at the 35-yard line for the LaVille Lancers as we move forward here in the second quarter. Doyle shotgun. Man in motion is Watts. He's not going to get the ball. It's a pitch actually to Watts. Watts hits a tackle, breaks around the outside to the 50 before being thrown out of bounds inside Bremen territory, and that's going to be a big rushing first down for the LaVille Lancers.
Watts is going to get the ball.
Yeah, at first he wasn't going to get the ball, and then they ended up running the option play, and Doyle, with great timing, pitched that ball out and was able to pick up a couple of blocks along that right side of the offensive line and the edge out there by the receivers. So a 17-yard gain by Colby Watts.
If you look, we've got Emery Fisher over here on our side all by himself.
Pope, put your hope in Pope. Gonna get the football.
Robbie Pope on the carry.
Probably a couple yards that time.
Robbie comes in and he gets those hard-earned yards, just as Wayne said.
Tackle by Marty Mangus.
Ball to 46, couple on the play, second down and 8.
Ball is at the Bremen 46-yard line.
Once again, LaVille waiting, potentially waiting. This game's not over with yet.
And you see who just came back onto the field now? Andrew Dill.
Andrew Dill.
Replacing Evan Betcher.
Lewis Cass now on top of Rochester, 21-3 second quarter. Ball given to Colby Watts, and Watts gets up near the first down marker. It's going to be fourth and manageable, and I would think Coach Ostrauser is going to go for it right here.
Might look to see where he places it first.
39-yard line, third down and 1.
Evan Betcher replacing Dill again. Evan Betcher's been a lot of fun to watch this year. We didn't get to see him last year, and every time he comes out, he really just kind of makes those key plays up there, the blocks, pulling attention away from the runner.
Pope around the outside, once again, getting those hard-earned yards. His feet were taken out from underneath him, but he still tried to lunge forward and going to get a rushing first down for the LaVille Lancers.
Pope is dope. That was nice.
First down and 10. Ball sits at about the 36-yard line.
Bremen 36-yard line.
Moving the change once again. The clock still runs, and the Lancers on top 21-0. Got two receivers to the near, two to the far. Single man backfield.
Betcher in motion.
Pope. Oh, excuse me, Watts. Watts on the carry that time.
Tackle by Trevor Rao.
He's going to get inside the 35-yard line to about the 34. Second and 8.
Ball's at the Bremen 34-yard line.
Looking at some other scores. Fairfield on top of Prairie Heights tonight, 14-0. We check scores around the state. Western Boone, an awfully good football team. Western Boone leading North Putnam 21-0. Second down and 8, ball to the 34-yard line. Here's a fake. Ball over the top, and this one's going to be incomplete. Ball intended for Andrew Dill on the play. Third down and 8. Former coach Brian Gleasing now coaching at Paoli. Paoli trailing Triton Central 13-8. That's a second quarter score. All of these in Class 2A football. Third and 8. 8 minutes and 23 seconds to go.
We've done a good job of spreading the ball around a little bit more after the Dill show to open it up.
Absolutely.
Getting a few more people looks.
There's a little play action. Ball's going to be thrown right to a Bremen defender. That's going to be, is that Huffman?
Alex McFadden.
Alex McFadden.
Wrong one.
Is
Sorry.
it? Oh.
Wrong.
Pass intercepted by
84 is R.J. Simpson.
R.J. Simpson, yeah.
Yep, on the interception.
Alex McFadden is our 84.
Ball's at the Bremen 24-yard line.
So 8:17 to go.
First and 10 line.
First and 10.
Well, let's see how Bremen capitalizes on the turnover here. This is their first shot.
Draw play. Nunemaker hands the ball to Wogeman.
Bryce Wogeman on the carry for Bremen. Tackled by Trent Woods.
Going to give him 9.
Ball at the 32-yard
Up
line.
to the 33. Second and 1.
Second down and 1.
I just heard a stat from the other side of the press box. 600 yards for Wogeman already.
This ball is actually thrown to the far side. Bennett trying to stiff arm and get a block out there by Sam Huffman. And he's going to get tackled, but not before a Bremen first down.
He does move it
Run
at the
out of bounds
37.
at the 37-yard line.
36 maybe.
First and 10 Bremen.
So passing first down, that's actually their third first down of the game. Actually, fourth first down. All of them passing tonight. No rushing first downs for Bremen. Nunemaker looking, pump fakes, rolls a little bit more, throws it up, and it's intercepted. That ball was picked off at the 50. It's Dill who picks it off at the 50, and the Lancers are in business again.
Evan Betcher with the pressure on the quarterback that time. He was in the quarterback's face, forced a bad decision before he got sacked.
Evan Betcher, big play there with the forced pressure that time. Just Nunemaker throws the ball up in the air. Andrew Dill comes down with it, and the Lancers will take over with 7:02.
And it looks like they're right back about where they were when we had the last turnover. So we'll try again from about the same place.
Ball's at about the 23. Lancers with the football and a 21-0 lead over the Bremen Lions. 7:02 to go here before halftime. Doyle pitches. Watts with the football. You know what? A little shimmy, a little shake, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. When it looks like he's going to get tackled, he moves the feet quick enough on that little move that he has and goes through.
Yeah, he did a great job finding that hole, creating a play. That was an exciting play.
Ball's down, kick is up, and kick is blocked.
I'm going to go home and watch that one on replay.
Yeah, no doubt about that. 6:52 to go. We'll take a 30-second timeout. It's LaVille 27, Bremen nothing. Back with more on LVH1.
I don't think of this as a high school weight room. It's more like a high school classroom. I'm learning how to manage my time here. I'm learning that it's important to have goals and that it takes persistence and commitment to reach them. And I'm learning that the best way to lead is by example.
Indiana High School Sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
Back to Lancer Field, we're just discussing the pitch actually from Aiden Doyle ended up being a forward pass, almost like a little shovel pass. So that's going to be a touchdown pass from Aiden Doyle to Colby Watts for 23 yards.
It has the same result. I think Colby's pretty happy with where he ended up.
Absolutely.
It wasn't much of a pass. He basically could have handed it to
picked up at about the 13-yard line. And this looks like Wogelman, and he's going to get decked. Evan Betcher.
I told you it was fun to watch him play again, right?
Yeah. So first and 10,
I remember last year when he got hurt, Coach was just so disappointed. He said he didn't see people come in and put in the amount of effort that Evan did. And he didn't want to take that for granted, and now he didn't get to play the season. But he said he would see this guy just putting in the mental effort, the physical effort, and this year it's all paying off. Those Betcher brothers are a lot of fun to watch out there.
Absolutely. Ball handed off to, that was given to Wogelman.
Wogelman on the carry, tackle by Tyler Student.
Wogelman got it, but he also got to meet Student. Student's jersey is pretty dirty. It doesn't show up quite as well on the cameras as the Bremen jerseys because they came out in white and on a muddy field like this.
2nd and 7 after a 3-yard gain. Second quarter, Lewis Cass leads Rochester 28-3. Ball handed off to Wogelman again. Wogelman up to the 40, up to just enough past the first down that's going to move the chains. And that's the first rushing first down of the game for the Bremen Lions, coming at the 6:02 mark of quarter number 2.
First and 10.
That was a hard tackle, too. It looked like Connor Mangus, Trent Brooks was in on that one.
First and 10, Bremen 43-yard line. Clock continues to roll inside 6 minutes. Wogelman up the middle, just churning those feet. He's going to get 9. Actually 8. Looks like the ref on the far side was starting to come back a little bit more. Nonetheless, it'll be 2nd and short in LaVille territory at about the 49.
Ball be at the Lancer 49-yard line. Second down.
He was tackled by Paul DeWitt when we had our senior game. That was a name that showed up over and over with the seniors. They all mentioned Paul DeWitt and working with him and what he's done at practice. They said next year when they come to watch games as graduates, that's who they're going to be watching.
Wogelman again moves forward, moving the chains. First down for the Lions.
Wogelman again on the carry.
Continuing this drive as the Lancers are on top 27-0, as we are going to be going under 5 minutes as soon as they get the chains set on the far side of the field. So far it's been the Bryce Wogelman show. Gains of 3, 9, 8, and 4 yards.
Yeah, that's no easy task. Running on a night like this over and over, but he's handled it very well.
Ball give to Wogelman again. Wogelman tries the left side this time. He's going to fall forward, and he's going to pick up another handful of yards.
Tackle by Trent Brooks.
Yeah, this puts the defense in a really rough position because they're going to have to stop Wogelman, but pretty soon it's going to pull that defense in and open up the receivers like it did for that earlier big play.
The LaVille defense continues to keep the Bremen Lions off the scoreboard. That's always a goal, game in and game out. Here's Nunemaker. Nunemaker on the far side. This one's caught. Cut out there by Simpson.
Tackle by Andrew Dill.
So we're at the 37-yard line. 3-yard gain, so 3rd and 2.
Opens up the whole playbook. There's nothing you have to run. A lot of options here.
Ball given to Wogeman.
Wogeman on the carry for Bremen.
That's it. That was a tackle by the whole defensive line.
Tackle by Aiden Doyle. Ball at the Lancers 34-yard line. 1st and 10, Bremen.
Plymouth leading St. Joe 7-0. Also West Noble defeating Mishawaka Marion 14-0. So we get updates here. Wogeman's going to squirt his way through, gets himself to the linebacking area. That's the second level of that Lancer defense. And except for the pass that was completed to R.J. Simpson, this has pretty much been a Bryce Wogeman trip down the field.
At the 27-yard line. Timeout, LaVille.
Timeout Lancers, 2:41 to go. We'll take a 30-second break as well. It is LaVille 27 and Bremen nothing. Back with more on LVH1.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Indiana are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Back to Lancer Field as Mr. Thomas and I continue to finagle the equipment, finagle our phones, finagle the scoreboard. Not your scoreboard, Mr. Cox. The scoreboard that I have that gives me scores on updates here. So we continue to watch Lewis Cass and Rochester, and Lewis Cass on top 28-3. Dingus gets this one, ducks his head, and gets up near the 20-yard line, and that's going to be another first down.
Tackle by Tyler Student. Ball at the LaVille 20-yard line. First and 10,
we do cut the halftime here in just a few minutes. Keep live on AHSA or on LVH1. We've got an interview with IHSAA Commissioner Rakestraw that we're
Greg
going to play for
okay,
everybody.
yeah. Sounds good.
He talks a little bit about what's been going on overall this year.
Sounds good. So first down and 10 at the 20. As we have an official timeout on the field. And this one's probably for an equipment failure of some sort.
The last timeout was not very official. This one is much more official than the last one.
All right. Now we got the clock rolling again. We reset the play clock back up to 25. Wogeman going to go off the right side. He's going to get 4 or 5 yards, setting up second down and about 6.
Tackle by Brooks and Fisher.
They've just used power football all the way across the football field here.
Absolutely.
Ball at the
And they've gone, yeah, you're right. Left side, right side. We're putting the ball down at about the 16, so we'll give him 4. Second down and 6.
This has been as straight and direct as you can get in football. We're just going to run it straight at you.
Noonemaker looking to the end zone, off the fingertips, and incomplete. 3rd and 6. Huffman, the tight end, was the intended receiver that time for the Bremen Lions. So 3rd and 6 from the 16. I like that play, a little mixture. You know, you were run, and that play is definitely available as you're throwing the ball to a 6-1 target. And you got 2 plays to get 6 yards here, so you know, you've been very effective with Wogeman. I wouldn't be surprised again if he gets a football.
And you're not surprised.
Wogeman draws near the goal line, gets inside the 10, where it's going to set up first and goal. So this is definitely the deepest penetration into LaVille territory, down to the 8-yard line. So after not having any rushing first downs, all 4 of their first downs were by pass prior to this drive. All 3 of their first downs have come in the running department.
And they're not in any hurry now. They don't want to give the Lancers the ball back with any
Absolutely
time
not.
left on the clock.
Ball handed off to Wogelman. Wogelman tries to sneak under center, and he's going to get stopped.
Aiden Doyle again.
Tackle by Doyle and Beddock.
So they're going to give him 2 yards. Yeah.
Second down and 6.
We felt like we were going to have somebody come through our ceiling, as you heard a thud, and it almost, they're wanting 42 seconds on the clock. Big dude.
Yeah, they are resetting the clock a little bit.
Resetting the clock. There goes the thumb. Thank you. So 42 seconds back on the clock, as the officials on the field said we ran a little longer than we were supposed to, so we'll give them back their 8. We'll exchange 27-0 for 8, won't we? 8 seconds. Well, the Bremen Lions have had this ball since the 6:52 mark of the second quarter and have not given it back, as it's been a constant, steady diet of Bryce Wogelman down the football field. Second and goal at the 6. I formation. Fade route in the corner, going to be caught. That's going to be a touchdown down there to Bennett.
Pass complete.
Hunter Bennett on the reception. And that's going to put the Bremen Lions on the board from 6 yards out. And that's going to be a boost for the confidence level of the Bremen Lions from this point.
Wogelman did all the work, and Hunter Bennett pulled it in for 6. $63 rushing yards on that one. Is that what we had?
Probably pretty close. It was a 69-yard drive.
And 6 yards on that pass.
Yep, 6 yards on that pass.
My abacus is calculated.
Ball is down, kick is up, and the kick is good by Bryce Wogelman. So Wogelman puts the Bremen Lions' 7th point on the board, 36 seconds to go. It is Bremen 27 and LaVille 7, and we'll keep things right here.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Indiana. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Is correct. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 plays, 69 yards. And so it's 27-7.
Our resume for math teacher isn't looking too good right now, is it?
That's not. No, not with me. Actually, math I wasn't too bad with when I was in school. 36 seconds to go. Wogelman putting foot to ball. It's going to get picked up at about the 34-yard line. And so it's going to be 31 seconds to go, and I have
Robbie Pope on the return for
Robbie Pope getting the return on that one.
I have a hunch we're going to take a knee, but we'll see. You never know. Coach Hostrauser might have another thought in mind where he says, you know what? We might, since we're at the 45, we might, yep, it's not the old kneel down formation. He is looking for something else.
He has been a bit more aggressive this past year.
Looking for something a little bit more special. Doyle looks, finds his man, and off the fingertips of Colby Watts as the ball falls incomplete. 2nd and 10, and he could have run for another 10 or 15 yards, maybe more.
I'd like to see him do something similar to that again. The coverage on that, the offensive line pushed everyone out. Dill was wide open, Colby was open.
Two receivers each side of the field now for Doyle. 26 seconds. Long time to go. Doyle moves up in the pocket, throws, far side of the field, stop and a spin, and he's going to get tackled, and Coach Hochstrasser calls timeout. So 17 seconds to go. Who caught that ball? Did we see what number caught that ball, guys?
27.
27? Nathan Watts?
Nathan Watts.
Nathan Watts on the catch.
Ball be at the Bremen 45-yard line. 1st and 10 Lancers.
Yeah, we did. We called timeout.
Timeout Lancers.
So timeout LaVille with 17 seconds to go, 45 yards away. And, you know, we have a weapon. And the guy's number 4, and he's warming up right over here on the near sideline. He's already converted on 5 field goal attempts this year. So I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? We get another, I would say another 10, 15 yards here. Coach Hochstrasser could end up sending Leighton Zarnecki out on the field.
If we move the chains, he's definitely kicking a field goal. Yeah, and I don't think we've seen how far he can kick yet this season. I'd like to see how far he can stretch it out, but. And I'd like to see it in a situation where it's not high pressure either, kind of like this right now.
27-7. Trips to the near side. Single receiver to the far side. Ball is snapped. 5 men in the pattern. Ball is out and the ball is caught. And it looks like it's Watts again. Nope, this is Connor Mangus on the catch.
Pass complete to Mangus.
The senior doing his part.
And that's going to be timeout LaVille.
Timeout LaVille.
8 seconds. You think they've got enough time to run another play, Coach?
Boy, it's got to be a real quick, you know, it's got to be a sideline play.
Looks like they're not going to go for it. They already got.
So ball sitting at the 36-yard line. Is that where we're at? Yeah, these guys have not been consistent on where they're kind of wiggling around where they mark the ball. Okay, so that's a 9-yard gain. So 2nd and 1, ball at the Bremen 36-yard line.
So with no timeouts left, they have to throw to the sidelines and get out quick or to the end zone.
Ball is
That's not it.
Caught. Well, but the clock stops. The clock stops, so what they'll do is they'll come down and they will clock it right away. They will down it right away. They're going to spike it right now. There we go. 1 second left. Incomplete. Incomplete.
Now looking out at the flag, he's going to be kicking a little bit into the wind. It doesn't look like it's too strong tonight.
This is a 51-yarder.
33-yard line.
This would be a school record if he converts this.
Zarnecki attempting a field goal.
He's got the foot. He's got the distance. He can do this. Timeout called by Jordan. Nope, flag. Offsides is going to put him 5 yards closer. Holy moly.
Does that take him from the record?
46 yards is the record.
Is it?
So actually this would put him up.
5 yards.
Depends on where they spot it. The record is 46. Where are they going to put the ball down at? So this would tie the school record of 46. Ball's down, kick is up, short and wide right. It is returnable. You've got to play it. Oh, it's in the end zone, so it's no good. So we end the half with a missed 46-yard field goal attempt by Leighton Zarnecki. It is halftime. LaVille 27, Bremen 7. We're back with more with the sectional semifinal game at Lancer Field. This is LVH1.
And your interview from the commissioner, so stay on during halftime.
There we go.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly update from the IHSAA Commissioner himself, Bobby Cox. Now for the inside scoop on what's happening day to day with the IHSAA. Here's Coach Bob Lovell with Commissioner Bobby Cox.
Once again, filling in for Bob Lovell, I'm Greg Rakestraw, but the star of the show is the commissioner of the IHSAA, and Bobby Cox. It is a 2-state championship weekend. There's only a couple of those during the course of the year. 6 soccer state finals at Fishers High School, 2 state finals in cross country over at the wonderful Laverne Gibson cross country course in Terre Haute. Mr. Commissioner, good morning, Bobby. How you doing?
I'm just fine, Greg. Yourself?
I'm doing fine. And what does a 2-state championship week in 2 venues 80 miles apart from each other mean for your staff this weekend?
Well, it stretches the staff a little bit because we have to split up our media folks and our commissioners and try to cover them both. And so we'll start at soccer over at Fishers High School. We're just indebted to Jim Brown, the athletic director there, and the entire Fishers staff for taking this on. Kind of in a transition year for us with soccer, and they'll do a wonderful job, and the arrangements are set and we're ready to go. But that'll start Friday night and then go into Saturday. And then, of course, we're in Terre Haute at the Laverne Gibson cross-country course for our 2-state championship cross-country races. And one of the best venues for cross-country in the United States, host of many NCAA events and collegiate events and high school events, and we're just very fortunate to be there and be able to have a couple great races there. So we're kind of, hoping for good weather. It's a little questionable, but we'll get through it. Kids will be resilient, and we'll have great championships.
Well, I think to that point, I think it's going to be cold, but still better than it was last week. And so let's talk about these 2 sports, what they went through last week, soccer and cross country, and the weather conditions that most of the state had to deal with last Saturday. Your thoughts about the perseverance shown a few days ago?
Well, I think the kids are, like I said, they're very resilient, and they have to prepare for whatever conditions come to them, as well as the coaching staffs and the fans. I can't speak as a former soccer guy, but I was an old cross-country guy way back in the day, and I remember running in those conditions like that, and it's tough. You have to prepare a little differently for a race that's in the slop than you do on a dry, fast course, and the kids do a great job. And so, again, tomorrow, we're coming up on Friday and Saturday, kids are going to have to prepare. And you don't know what those conditions will be like. Will the ground be soft? Will it be hard? Where will the wind be? How cold will it be? Soccer, same thing. How cold is it going to be? And what are you going to have to deal with? And you just have to give your hats off to these young people who participate in these state championship events and trying to bring home a state title to their schools.
Your thoughts about the growth of soccer in this state, knowing that 10 years ago it was a one-class sport, and now, and this has been the case for the last several years, you've got 3 classes on both the boys and girls side.
Well, you've identified it correctly, Greg. We started with 1 class, and it hasn't been that many years ago that we had 1 class. Now we're up to 3, and we continue to add schools every year to the sport of soccer on both the boys and the girls side. And our rules provide that when we get to 95% of our members playing, that we would go to 4 classes. And that's a ways off yet. We're between 75 and 95%, but we're growing, and that's good. Anytime we have an opportunity for young people to participate and the growth of soccer is demonstrating that there are more opportunities to participate, that's always a good thing. Same thing's true with cross country. We continue to add schools that have cross country. We continue to have more opportunities for young people to race in our sectional. And as long as we continue to grow those participation numbers and serve our patrons and serve our schools, then I think it's all a good thing.
All right, let's talk about the 2 sports that are still progressing through their state tournament. We will all be together at Worthing Arena in Muncie next Saturday for the volleyball state finals. This weekend, It's the volleyball semi-state. Tell us about it.
Well, the volleyball semi-state, as you know, is the last step before you get to the state finals. So it's a new level of intensity when you get to those semi-states. We've got some great schools participating in those events, both in the northern and southern part of our state. The opportunity to go play volleyball at Worthen Arena is a tremendous chance for our young people. Great service to the association. As we've talked about before, Delaware County and Ball State University, the whole community of Muncie is a volleyball hotbed. And so when we go there, those folks know what they're doing. It's a great venue, and it's a great environment for those young people to compete for a championship. But you got to get there, and this weekend's how you get there. And there'll be some great championship matches Saturday evening to see who's going to go to the state finals.
And then finally, sectional semifinals. All classes now have 4 teams left in every sectional, so 192 schools remain in the football draw. Your thoughts about week 1, where we focused on the 1A through 4A classifications?
Well, I thought the first week went really well, and we had some pretty good ball games, and we had some games that got into the mercy rule as well. It'll be interesting to see as we go through the sectional from the first week now to the second week and into the third week, how those scores start getting a little closer and closer together. But this is the beginning of 6A football and most of 5A football on Friday night. And we got some tremendous matchups right out of the hopper. Great matchups. And, like you say, if the weather's dry, people will come out if it's cold, and we encourage our fans to come out and support their local school. We hope it's dry, and, just bundle up and get some hot hand warmers and go out there and cheer hard for your school.
If I do not see you at Fisher's on Saturday, I will see you in Muncie the following Saturday. As always, my friend, thanks for the time, and I know it's a busy weekend. Have fun and safe travels.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it.
Here's for you.
You're number one. You're number one.
You're number one?
Because as high school athletes, we know there is no us without you.
We know that when you buy a ticket to see an IHSAA game or meet, you're helping pay for new uniforms, safer equipment, or even a bus ride to the game.
But we also know what you're really saying is, I believe in you. I believe you could be somebody.
When you think about all of the opportunities your attendance at an IHSAA athletic event creates,
and the fact that you paid for your ticket,
well, fantastic doesn't begin to describe how we feel about you.
High school sports.
You pay,
we play.
Everybody wins.
This message brought to you by the IHSAA, encouraging you to go to a high school game this week and help build a future that benefits us all. What's included in the price of a ticket to attend an IHSAA athletic event?
Harris cuts left, darts right, and goes straight to college!
High school sports teach life skills that go beyond the field of play. Skills that pave the way to a better education and a more fulfilling career. It's all included in the price of admission when you attend a high school athletic event. All you have to do is buy a ticket.
I can do that.
This message brought to you by the IHSAA. What's included in the price of a ticket when you attend a high school athletic event? For starters, greater opportunities for our kids.
And here comes Lopez. He dribbles, fakes, shoots, and scores! A high-paying job!
Putting today's young people on the pathway to success. Inspiring them to never give up. Encouraging them to always do their best. Teaching them how to be better leaders. It's all included in the price of admission when you go to an IHSAA athletic event. All you have to do is buy a ticket.
I can do that.
High school sports. We pay, they play, everybody wins. This message brought to you by the IHSAA, encouraging you to go to a high school game this week and help build a future that benefits us all.
I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana high school sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Indiana are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hey Lancer fans, advertising spots are available today with LVH1. Advertising with LVH1 at LaVille Junior Senior High School gives you business publicity with high school parents, fans, and families throughout the state of Indiana and beyond.
Advertisements can be provided by your business or made in-house by our mass media class at the high school.
All the funding goes directly to the student program and will help us gain hands-on experience in the broadcasting, video editing, and marketing fields.
If you're interested in advertising during athletic events throughout the year, please contact the broadcasting program at broadcasting@unorth.k12.in.us or call us at 574-784-3151.
Advertise today with LVH1, the voice of Lancer Nation.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Indiana. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
I don't think of this as a high school weight room. It's more like a high school classroom. I'm learning how to manage my time here. I'm learning that it's important to have goals and that it takes persistence and commitment to reach them. And I'm learning that the best way to lead is by example.
Indiana High School Sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
A crisp October evening. A stadium filled with fans. A pass thrown. A journey completed. State of euphoria? No. The state of Indiana. High school sports. Pure spirit. Pure sport. Pure Indiana. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana High School Sports.
They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
Welcome back to LVH1, your voice of Lancer Nation. We're about to enter the second half of a 27-7 game. Lancers are up here at home. It has been a little bit of a lopsided game, but they ended that first half with quite a rushing attack. Straight up the middle, over and over and over. Really just wearing down the Lancer defense. And then finally taking advantage once they got over into their own end zone, throwing it into Hunter Bennett, who has really just been quite an athlete out there for the Lions tonight. And he finally pulled one in for a touchdown. These next two drives are really some of my favorite to watch it, as we get to see how teams adapt to what they saw in the first half and overcome adversity a little bit, change up their game plan to see what the other team has done. See how this defensive line that normally doesn't give up a whole lot of rushing yards, what they do to keep the other team back. Bremen should be getting the ball, if I remember correctly, here to start the second half. And Coach Shear is giving me a head nod, which is normally pretty convincing for me. It makes me feel a little bit better at work. So Bremen's going to get the ball to start the second half. In about 2.5 minutes, running out onto the field. And we'll get to see their offense, see if they take the same sort of attack they did at the beginning, or at the end anyway. Here for LaVille, it's Dill over and over, and Colby Watts had a few big plays. He had a really electric run there in the second quarter, and Aiden Doyle on offense and defense been lights out, opening plays and keeping drives alive, and then doing what he can on defense to snuff them out. He's had a few key tackles. And then some of the other names that we've said a lot throughout the evening on top of their rushing game. Just trying to pull up what I had earlier here. Ginter is really, or Wagaman is, like we said, been pulling it out, but he'd scored their touchdown the last time we met, so we knew to do that. I think seeing the likes of Ginter in the backfield has really opened things up for them in a way that they didn't have previously. Halftime for Lewis Cass and Rochester. Rochester has a lone field goal. Lewis Cass is up 40 points right now to the 3 for Rochester. That Lewis Cass team has just been a well-oiled machine, it seems, all season. They got that #1 seed for a reason. They earned it. And they're showcasing why here tonight.
Hey, you're doing a good job, boss. I'm telling you what, I'm impressed.
They gave me an extra cup of coffee back there.
That was nice. I'm glad somebody's taking care of you. Look at some unofficial stats. First downs at halftime. LaVille with 8, Bremen with 7. In the rushing department, Lancers 11 for 89 carries, Bremen 23 for 103, and in the passing department, LaVille leads that 71 to 49. Once again, that's just quick pen to paper, very unofficial stats as we head into the second half. LaVille on top, 27 to 7. Lancers open the scoring. Andrew Dill, 29-yard pass from Aiden Doyle. Zarnecki comes in. PAT is good. Second possession, Andrew Dill, 34-yard run. Zarnecki comes in, adds the PAT with 7:10 to go in the first quarter. Lancers up 14 to nothing. Lancers then score again when Andrew Dill takes the ball 8 yards after what was a crazy exchange and a roughing the kicker and a fumbled ball. Zarnecki comes in, adds a PAT, 21-0. Lancers take a 27-0 lead. Doyle to Watts for 23 yards. That PAT was missed. And then Bremen gets on the board. Bennett, 6-yard pass from Nunemaker. Wogelman adds the kick. That's where we stand. And here we go.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic miss from Layton. I wasn't able to see. It looked like someone may have gotten a fingertip on it from Bremen. Had to send it off to the side.
So Bremen's going to start the football. First down 10 at their own 28-yard line.
Bremen coming up for this first drive.
Very important first drive. You know what, if you want to get back in this, you're down 3 scores. If you want to get back in this football game, you need to score and do it pretty quickly. Nunemaker gives the ball to Wogeman. Wogeman off the left side, gets a block before getting his shoestrings taken out from underneath him. That's going to be about a 4-yard gain.
Tackled by Connor Mangus.
And you would expect that they're probably going to use Wogeman a lot. You can't rely too heavily on that. They're going to be airing the ball out a little bit more. They've got to get a couple touchdowns to get back into this game.
Absolutely, and you know what? Wogeman led them in the first half down that drive where they took the ball 14 plays, 69 yards, 60 of them on the ground, and all of them but about 11 went to Wogeman. Here's Wogeman going to get tackled. That's going to be a tackle for loss. Was that Doyle? Aiden Doyle on the tackle for loss.
Doyle and Student. Student moved all the way out from the line to get out to the sidelines that time.
No gain on the play. 3rd down and 6.
32-yard line. Two receivers to the near side, a receiver to the far side. Snap, looks to go downfield and cannot because of the pressure defense.
He's a Nunemaker.
And Jacob Hominick getting in there.
Tackled by Jacob Hominick for a loss.
He told me when he's on the line, he likes to give out pancakes, but when he does defense, he hands out the waffles. I'd say that was a waffle on that one.
Well, and that's going to force Bremen into 4th and punting.
4th and 13.
There's no way they're going to go for the ball here.
It was a very convincing sack from Hominick.
That's a 7-yard loss.
Wogeman will punt for Bremen.
4th and punting for Bremen. Exactly the way the Lancers wanted to start the second half. Low line drive, bounces short hop, picked up. Dill going to go backwards to the 30, up to the 40, up to the 50. 50 still on his feet and gets pushed out of bounds in Bremen territory, and that's where the Lancers will set up shop.
Took the Barry Sanders route there. Lose 5 yards to gain 6. That was Andrew Dill on the return on that time. And it's quite the double-edged sword back there. If I'm not going to kick to Colby Watts, I have to kick to Andrew Dill. There's no good decision to make.
Okay, so they respotted the ball back at the LaVille 49. Wow.
Ball be at the 49-yard line. 1st and 10, LaVille.
Okay, first down. Lancers with the ball. Start the second half. Ball out to Dill. Dill the 50 to the 45, cuts back, trying to use his speed to split defenders, and gets a Lancer first down.
And he brought that first tackler with him. It was the next 2 that really helped bring him down. Dill doesn't look like it when he stands next to these offensive linemen, but when you see him in person, that's no small kid. He's a very large young man. Spends quite a long amount of time in the weight room, and it's been paying off.
First down number 9, unofficially for the Lancers. 1st and 10 at the Bremen 34, looking for more points. Little bubble screen.
That was not the cleanest play.
We had two receivers in the same yard together. So it's going to be 2nd and 1. No, excuse me, 2nd and 11.
Ball at the Bremen 35-yard line. Loss of 1 on the play.
So 10 to 23 for -1. 35-yard line. 2nd and 11. Pitch. Watch, trying to get around the outside, and he's not going to go anywhere. Loses the football, and it looks like the Bremen Lions have recovered. Number 84, R.J. Simpson, recovers for the Bremen Lions.
And they are excited about that one.
Ball be at the Bremen 41-yard line, 1st and 10.
Colby Watts hasn't lost a lot of fumbles tonight, or this season.
Absolutely not.
That's going to give the ball to Bremen here at about midfield, 41-yard line.
Going deep, going to his man. It's going to be picked off, and it's knocked away at the last minute by Bennett.
That was Connor Mangus looking for the interception.
Pass incomplete, broken up by Connor Mangus.
Connor Mangus was eyeing that as soon as the ball came out of his hands. But Bremen is starting to open it up a little bit more.
Third quarter, Lewis Cass leads Rochester 40-3. Judson up 10-0 over Winnemac at halftime, and Culver leads South Central 8-6 at halftime. This one's to Huffman. Huffman just going to duck his head, and you know what? Try to run over some people and get near a first down marker.
Pass complete to Huffman.
Yeah, and all the credit to the offensive line that time. Student and Martin were doing their best to get back to the quarterback, and they protected him just long enough to be able to complete that pass to Sam Huffman.
7-yard gain, 3rd and 3. 7:50 to go. Clock continues to run. That right now for the Lancers is the most important aspect of this game. The clock just needs to run. Oh, and there's going to be movement against Bremen. You and I in the whole press box saw that one. So that's going to make it 3rd and 8.
And another important part of this game aside from the clock.
Actually, false start. Yep. 43. That's probably the easiest call the officials will have all night.
And Bremen just shooting themselves in the foot again with another penalty.
Yeah. 3rd and 8 from the 43. 7th penalty for Bremen, none for the Lancers. Ball goes to Wogeman, and guess what? Wogeman gets the ball and was met immediately.
Wogeman on the carry.
Jake Martin back there.
Tackle by Jake Martin. All the way back to the Bremen 39-yard line.
That's a loss of 4. 4th down, 4th and punting.
Jake Martin is just so even-keeled. It never gets under his skin, never feels the pressure, does what needs to happen. Got the sack on that play.
Timeout. Timeout, LaVille. 6:47 to go. We're back with more on LVH1.
A crisp October evening. A stadium filled with fans. A pass through. A journey completed. State of euphoria? No. The state of Indiana. High school sports. Pure spirit. Pure sport. Pure Indiana. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
Third period score, Lewis Cass 47, Rochester 3.
Back to Lancer Field after the LaVille Lancers call a timeout with 6:47 to go, and LaVille on top 27-7, and I'm believing that Coach Ostrauser wanted to make sure, hey guys, no roughing the kicker penalty here. You know, we're just going to set up for a return because we certainly don't want to allow Bremen to keep the ball. Wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of pull back, which they do. There's the punt, punting it away from Colby Watts. It takes a Bremen bounce down dead at the 20-yard line. That's where the Lancers will set up shop, first down and 10.
That's what Colby Watts does on special teams. Without even touching the ball, he's just completely changed the entire aspect of what you're able to do.
Well, and this would be a good time right now to just take the ball, run down the field, 12, 14 plays, click off this 6:36 and keep the ball to start the fourth quarter.
Maybe put your hope in Pope and just have him run it right up the middle a few times, see how that works.
2, 3, 4 yards at a time. Victory here, and a victory by Lewis Cass takes the Lancers to Walton, Indiana next week to play the #1 ranked team in the state, the Lewis Cass Kings. Pope.
That was Robbie Pope.
Yes, it was. Looks like we're going to give him 1, 2nd and 9. No, I'm sorry, he lost one. My apologies. He lost one, so 2nd and 11.
We may not have been the only person expecting something along those lines that time. Connor Mangus all the way out on the left side here.
Doyle keeps it. First time he's really called his own number this time. I think he was just trying to mix some things up. That time saw a little opening, thought, you know what, I'm going to take advantage, but unfortunately nothing there.
Tackle by Grant Kaufman.
And he's going to lose a few more.
Yeah, they may not necessarily be looking to tack onto the score at this point, but I don't think they want to leave the ball on this side of the field. I'm probably hoping to take a little bit more time off the clock as well.
Well, 2 receivers each side of the line. Quick snap. Still had time. Doyle, complete, near side. That one's going to be caught out there by Andrew Dill. No, yeah, that is Dill, 23. I thought I saw a 33, but it's a 23.
Zach Zarnecki from Bremen really helped bring him out there.
Run out of bounds by Zach Zarnecki.
Other teams may have struggled saying that last name, but I think we're fairly used to it.
Yeah, somewhat familiar with 15-yard gain, passing first down, and Lancers move the chains. Doyle, pitch, Watts breaks the corner, gets out to the 45 to the 50. He could be gone. He could go all the way, and he does. 69-yard touchdown run by Colby Watts.
Colby Watts is a bit of a track athlete too. Once he gets out there on the open field, he takes that baton and it's game over.
Well, and broke the edge once he got the edge, and as a good friend of mine, Chuck Freeby, would say, he's bobbing, he's weaving, he's even, and he's leaving. And he busted at 69 yards for 6 points for the Lancers. Leighton Zarnecki on to make it 34. Ball down, kick is up, and the kick is good. Zarnecki makes it. LaVille 34.
A crisp October evening. A stadium filled with fans. A pass through. A journey completed. State of euphoria? No. The state of Indiana. High school sports. Pure spirit. Pure sport. Pure Indiana. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
Hey Lancer fans, advertising spots are available today with LVH1. Advertising with LVH1 at LaVille Junior Senior High School gives you business publicity with high school parents, fans, and families throughout the state of Indiana and beyond.
Advertisements can be provided by your business or made in-house by our mass media class at the high school.
All the funding goes directly to the student program and will help us gain hands-on experience in the broadcasting, video editing, and marketing fields.
If you're interested in advertising during athletic events throughout the year, please contact the broadcasting program at broadcasting@unorth.k12.in.us or call us at 574-784-3151.
Advertise today with LVH1, the voice of Lancer Nation.
Field, Leighton Zarnecki puts foot to ball. Ball hits at the 20. Ball picked up out there by Bennett. He's trying to bobble and weave his way through some defenders from the Lancers before being brought down at about the 27-yard line.
He did a little bit of zig, a little bit of zag.
Tackle by Colin Allen. Trent Woods.
And it really just goes to show that last drive, just the weapons that the Lancers have.
First and 10 line.
And Colby's able to break open a big play to really shift momentum back after what Bremen had done to end the first half.
Well, and
let's see how they answer here.
You know, for the exception of the one drive, Bremen's really been kind of scampering, you know, the whole night trying to find themselves. And LaVille just has been in control the whole time.
Aiden Doyle back there again after the bad snap.
On the carry, brought down by
We've said Aiden Doyle's name almost as much on defense as we have on offense.
And he's not run the ball, but two times at the most.
Ball at the Bremen 24-yard line.
And if you look out there now, he's actually helping direct the offense a little bit. Wayne Zarnecki helping direct the secondary, and Aiden was actually up on the line.
Well, 2nd and 13, clock is rolling.
Something this team does not lack is solid leadership. Those are two fine young men out there.
Wogeman up the middle.
Wogeman on the carry.
3rd down.
Tackle by Tyler Student.
Tyler Student getting in there again.
Give him about 6 yards. 3rd and 7 at the 30.
Let's see what they dial up here to get out of that 3rd and 9. Long 3rd down. Got Twins off on the right.
Leighton Zarnecki again steps in front of a huge pass. We've seen him do that a handful of times this year, and there's another one setting up 4th and punting situation for the Bremen Lions.
He's just such an intelligent young man when it comes to sports, and he's even one of the leaders for the IHSAA Junior Council.
Absolutely.
And when you come out here and just see his composure, you can understand why, with how he holds himself and treats others, but still makes that big play. That looks like it was touched by Bremen. A little bit of a misstep on that one.
So a 3:08 to go. The Lancers will take over. 1st and 10 at about the 31-yard line.
1st and 10, LaVille.
In stereo. 19 and 22 is a 41-yard punt.
Feels good when Steve Cox agrees with what you're about to say, right?
Wow, it's kind of crazy. You and I both spoke at the same time, the exact same words. That's scary.
So after that big play from Colby, let's see how the Lancers play this next drive. We've got about 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Still a lot of football to go. Crazy things happen on a Friday night.
Absolutely.
They've made movies about such things.
Watts, once again, starts on the left, cuts back to the right, cuts back to the left. You know, just avoiding every defender that steps in his way. And he's going to pick up a nice chunk of change. 2nd down and 1. Oh my goodness. This is amazing.
Steve and Scott are saying the same thing. It's like between the two of them, there's one brain just melded now.
Too scary for me. Under 2:30 to go.
I don't want to sit here anymore.
Ball handed off. Pope. They're going to give him forward progress, and he's going to have another LaVille first down.
They didn't give it to him. He earned it.
Tackle by Lane Moser.
That's what I have to enforce on them in class, is I didn't give it to you. You earned it, whether you like it or not. You earned what you have.
That's right.
He normally likes what he has. Most of the students on this team are very good students in the classroom.
Absolutely. You know, we just took the picture of athletes that earned all academic, all conference, and we had 27 fall athletes that are just juniors and seniors. That's not everybody. There's a fake long pitch, and here's a short pitch, and unfortunately, Andrew Dill's not going to go very far.
Andrew Dill on the carry.
Yeah, at this point, I think the defense is kind of zoned in on a couple of these players.
Absolutely. Loss of one, setting up second down and 11. Now we're nearing the 1:30 mark of quarter number 3. Once again, LaVille on top, 34-7. Lancers, that was Dill. Lancers continue here. With this victory, we'll be going to Walton, Indiana next week.
Pope coming back in.
Man in motion to the near side is Dill. Here's the pitch. Block out front, and unfortunately, Robbie Pope is going to lose a couple.
Yeah, he wasn't able to make anything happen on that one.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, if you're the lead blocker right there in that situation, you know, it's a matter of who you pick up. You pick up the right guy, you know, your teammate behind you is going to be able to break around, and it looked like his lead blocker that time chose to take the next level of defender, and the pursuit was just so quick that Robbie wasn't able to follow his blocker.
And all those major playmakers were on that side, so Doyle coming back with the snap
Doyle,
again.
pass, complete. That one looks like Watts.
Colby Watts again.
Colby Watts on the catch.
Pass complete to Watts. Tackle by R.J. Simpson.
Fourth and...
Ball at the Lancers.
That's probably going to end the third quarter for us, I would believe.
Yep. It's going to end That's going to end 3 quarters. LaVille 34, Bremen 7. Back with more on LVH1.
Listen up, high school sports fans. This cheer's for you.
You're number one! You're number one!
Why all the love? Why do we think you're number one?
Because as high school athletes, we know there is no us without you.
We know that when you buy a ticket to see an IHSAA game or meet, you're helping pay for new uniforms, safer equipment, or even a bus ride to the game.
But we also know what you're really saying is, I believe in you. I believe you could be somebody.
When you think about all of the opportunities your attendance at an IHSAA athletic event creates,
and the fact that you paid for your ticket,
well, fantastic doesn't begin to describe how we feel about you.
High school sports.
You pay,
we play.
Everybody wins.
This message brought to you by the IHSAA, encouraging you to go to a high school game this week and help build a future that benefits us all.
And we are back here on LVH1. Leighton Zarnecki back to punt. One of his very few punts this evening. Oh.
That one's partially deflected. There's going to be a flag in the middle of the field.
Zarnecki's punt is partially blocked. Roll dead on the 47.
Well, and, you know, let's hold on here, because if that plays on Bremen, depending on what happens, depending on what they call, the umpire is the one that threw the penalty flag, and so now we're discussing on who it's on and what's going to happen. Holding against Bremen.
Penalties against Bremen, holding.
So, is that a pre-kick or a post-kick? penalty. Was it? Okay. So we're thinking it was a post kick, which means from the point where the ball is blown dead, we're going to go backwards 10 yards. Yeah, that's what happened.
I'm not sure.
So a 12-yard punt because of the deflection, but we're going to have a 10-yard holding penalty against Bremen.
Bremen will maintain possession of the football after the 10-yard penalty.
So 1st and 10, 37-yard line.
And our field that looked so pretty just a few weeks ago is really getting its work
beat
in
up
tonight.
Yeah, it's getting beat up. Give to Wogeman. Wogeman up to about the 40-yard line.
Wogeman on the carry.
A lot of that field is on Wogeman's jersey right now. He is carrying the load.
Yeah, he's definitely going to take a lot of our turf home with him tonight.
That was another one from Evan Betcher, stopping that play.
2nd and 6 at the 41. Pass on your side, again. Wogeman. Keep him in bounds. Keep that clock rolling. Keep that clock rolling. That away.
Pass complete to Wogeman. Tackle by Trent Woods.
3rd and 2.
At the 45-yard line. 3rd down and 2.
Wogeman getting a little bit of a reception in too, really expanding his game.
Well, and the key part there is our defense was able to keep him in bounds, not let him get out of bounds where that clock will stop, and it just keeps rolling inside of 10:30. And now there's going to be one of those, uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that moments.
That's going to be on Zach Miller, it looks like.
Yeah.
Penalty on Bremen.
That's got to be, what, 8 or 9 penalties on 10 penalties on 9 penalties. 9 penalties on Bremen and none on us.
Now, Canadian football, that's completely legal.
Correct, it is. You are right.
But we are playing south of that border tonight. (34-7) with 10 minutes left here.
Nunemaker rolling, looking, tucks it, runs, tries to get out of bounds, and does so.
And Nunemaker had no option. Bremen has no option. They have to really air the ball out here. Unfortunately, the secondary snuffed that out and knew the same thing.
Ball at the Bremen 40-yard line.
He did get out of bounds.
4th down and 7.
Fourth and 7 ball at the 40-yard line for the Bremen Lions. Are we waiting to start the clock, or what are we doing here? There we go. All right.
I think they were drying the ball off a little bit.
Okay. I'm not sure what was going on down there. It just seemed like it took a long time once the play was over with to get to this point.
Wogeman will punt for the Lancers. Colby Watts is for Bremen. Watts is deep.
Wogeman, sidewinder, takes a Bremen bounce from the 40 to the 32.
Roll dead down to
Lancers will get the ball back.
2-yard line.
Colby didn't even expect the ball to come over anywhere near his direction that time. You can see he actually ran up near the line instead.
So 28-yard punt.
So with under 10 minutes to go, I would expect a little bit of a run attack, see how much we could take down, but as we've said before, I just kind of sit up here. I don't really have to call a whole lot of plays.
Doyle in the shotgun. Looks like he might be checking off the play. Watts now moves over to the left side. Paul, option. Doyle decided to keep, and it's a good thing he did, honestly, because had he tried to flip that one could have been a loose ball.
Tackle by Moser.
At this point, the winner's probably going to play Lewis Cass, it looks like, because that game is all Lewis Cass at this point.
Second down and 13.
And I don't know what it's going to take for us to have another home game, but we're going to have a few basketball games. Aiden Doyle's going to be out there, Andrew Dill, a lot of these names you've heard tonight. If you hit that subscribe button, you'll be able to see as soon as one of our basketball games come on, and you'll be able to catch all of that action here in just a few weeks. Basketball season's coming up.
Girls actually scrimmage tomorrow at noon. Go figure. There's a ball handed off to Watts. Watts gets past the 30 to maybe the 32-yard line.
Yeah, the girls have a new coach with Coach Plenninger. Coach Cox helping with the JV a little bit.
Coach Angie helping.
Coach Angie and Coach
Coach
Beeler.
J.T. Beeler. Latest addition to the coaching staff.
33-yard line, be third down.
Coach Tree just branches out a little bit more.
It does. Be interesting to look at the new offense tomorrow. See what it's going to be like.
Beeler of relation to Luke Beeler, who graduated last year, and Reba Beeler, who you should see a lot playing this year. Aiden Doyle falling back, looking to pass.
Near side, going to be a hold on the Lancers. Or at least it's in that vicinity. Let's put it that way. It is. Holding on LaVille. Ball back to the line of scrimmage, so that'll be a 10-yard mark off. So it'll be about 3rd and 20 from about the 22-yard line. That's the first penalty against the Lancers tonight, coming at the 8:07 mark of quarter number 4.
And Doyle ran up there to see what the play call is going to be here in this situation.
23-yard line.
This one goes deep.
Oh.
That time, Andrew Dill was interfered with. And that's going to be an automatic first down for the LaVille Lancers.
Yeah, it looks like he ran into the defender a little bit, but
Penalties against Bremen, pass interference.
So it'll be 3rd and short.
Ball at the Lancer 37-yard line.
So it's a 15-yard penalty.
3rd down and 5.
So 3rd and 5. I like that.
that was a good play call. Let's do that again.
Under 8 minutes to go now in the football game. LaVille on top 34-7 over the Bremen Lions. Here's Doyle rolling, looking, ducks his shoulder, goes out of bounds.
Yeah, that did not go the way Doyle had drawn it up. They've done a really good job of stopping his run game, though. Doyle typically does a good job of expanding the field a little bit.
4th down and 6.
You look in the backfield, they've got Hunter Bennett ready to recover the punt here.
Bennett is deep for Bremen.
Hunter Bennett's been quite impressive tonight. Oh, wow.
Ball was picked up at the 25-yard line. Mosier's 25-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Punt is fumbled.
The ground as muddy as it is, and
Lane Mosier picks it up and runs
Layton
in
fumbles
for
the
Bremen
ball,
touchdown.
picks it up and tries to recover the play, and by that point it was a little too late. The pressure was already back there, and there's no good decision to make in that spot. Unless you're Bremen, who turned it around the way they needed to.
11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Cass 54, Rochester 9. So 6:57 to go, and what looked like a punting situation was a bobble, a fumble, a scoop, and a score. And so the extra point is good by Wogeman. 6:57 to go. It's LaVille 34, Bremen 14. Back after this.
Hey Lancer fans, advertising spots are available today with LVH1. Advertising with LVH1 at LaVille Junior Senior High School gives you business publicity with high school parents, fans, and families throughout the state of Indiana and beyond.
Advertisements can be provided by your business or made in-house by our mass media class at the high school.
All the funding goes directly to the student program and will help us gain hands-on experience in the broadcasting, video editing, and marketing fields.
If you're interested in advertising during athletic events throughout the year, please contact the broadcasting program at broadcasting@unorth.k12.in.us or call us at 574-784-3151.
Advertise today with LVH1, the voice of Lancer Nation.
Onside kick here. 6:57 to go. Bremen just scored, and Wogeman trying to get this all set up with the hands team within 5 yards of each other. 8 guys within 5 yards of each other, and a 9th one kind of creeping. There's the onside kick. The ball pops, and the Lancers recover before the ball goes 10 yards. That's one of those you have to be sure. If I'm going to go get this ball, I got to be sure I'm going to get it.
And fall on it. No reason to try and run anything or be the hero and get any extra yards.
Exactly.
Do your spot and just fall down on top of the ball. Oh.
Levi Stafford.
So 1st and 10 for LaVille at the Bremen 49.
1st and 10 LaVille.
Levi Stafford being helped off the field right now. Number 70. Unfortunately, with this amount of time left, we won't be able to give you an update during the game, but
Watt slips and falls that time. No gain. 2nd and 10.
2nd down and 10.
Well, and these are kids, Wayne, that know each other. You know, they live within 15 minutes of each other. They hang. Some of them hang out together. You know, they go do things at other events together with each other, and so, you know, there's that level of respect there. Despite whatever the numbers are on the scoreboard, there's still that level of respect.
Play multiple sports against each other throughout
Absolutely.
the year.
Here's Watts. Got to keep him in bounds, and he does so. Watts on the carry.
Watts on the
Yeah,
carry.
that may be one of the things I enjoy the most about some of these smaller schools is just getting to see these players shine, these young men and women in multiple sports. You get to see them out there in track and then baseball or softball during the respective times.
End of 3 quarters. Culver Community 14, South Central 6. That's a Class 1A football sectional game. Looks like the Cavaliers trying to advance to a sectional championship. End of 3 quarters. Lewis Cass 54, Rochester 9, with about 10 minutes to go.
Double score story in the 4th period. Cass 54, Rochester 9. The end of the 3rd quarter, Culver 14, South Central 6.
6:02 to go. 3rd down. Also, end of the 3rd quarter, North Judson 10, Winnemac 0. Getting updates here as the night progresses. We appreciate all those updates. 6:02 to go. Ball is snapped. Ball handed off to Watts. Watts is going to get busted loose. And there he goes again.
And it's just hard to hold him down for long.
And that's good for a Lancer first down.
All the way down to the Bremen 34-yard line. 1st and 10, LaVille.
Yes, sir.
Colby Watts again. If he gets the ball 2 or 3 times, he's going to break one of those open.
We've got our fans out in front of us, already prompting the warmth of the bus. 5:28 to go. Stranger things have happened. This is a 3-score game. Hang on to the football. This is Watts. Watts on the carry. 2nd down. And we have a jersey down. If we can get a number on him. Five minutes and 13 seconds to go. See if we can do some more updating here.
Looks like it's probably just a little bit of a leg cramp, I would guess.
So once again, scores that we do have. End of the 3rd quarter, North Judson 10, Winnemac 0. End of the 3rd quarter, Culver Community 14. South Central of Union Mills, or that's the LaPorte area, 6. Last we heard Lewis Cass 54, Rochester 9 with about 10 minutes to go in that ball game.
That was Trevor Rowe that was down, but he's standing up already. He's getting the round of applause.
And he's going off under his own power, which is more important. Lancers in position for a victory right now. Just got to run out 5 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock.
There aren't many clean jerseys out there at this point.
Especially on the Bremen side because they're wearing white tonight.
White or brown? I think they're wearing brown.
They could be tonight. You know what? It's kind of a tinted brown for sure. Hedge in that direction. Doyle, the quarterback, 4:54, and clock is rolling. Going to hand it off. Dill ducks the shoulder. He gets up near a first down.
Tackle by Grant Kaufman.
It's going to be 3rd down, but it does the job. Stays in bounds. Clock keeps going.
Ball's at the 25-yard line.
So gain of 7.
Moved in the right direction.
So our PA man says 3rd and a foot. I have to put 3rd and 1 because unfortunately we can't give distance. Yeah, we can't give a 3rd or 2/3. So that's going to be a first down by Doyle. But more importantly, give us a new set of downs, move the chains, and keep the ball in our possession. So 1st down and 10. And we're at about the 22-yard line. Ball's at the 22-yard line, nearing the 4-minute mark.
22-yard line, 1st and 10 Lancers.
This has been a fun game so far. It's been a little fast-paced.
Ball handed off to Watts. Watts.
Watts on the carry.
working his way toward another good chunk of change. Give him about a half a dozen or so.
Eckenbarger. Ball way down to the 15-yard line.
So 2nd and 3.
2nd down and 3.
Lancers doing what they can to really kind of chip away at that defense.
Well, and, you know, at this point, you don't need a score. You know, just Aiden Doyle's going to stand there and let that clock run a little bit. Now it's under 5 seconds on the play clock. Snaps it, loses it, and then he picks up his own fumble.
Fumble on the play, recovered by LaVille.
So that's a fumble not lost. Recovered.
Ball back to the 20-yard line.
So loss of 5, 3rd and 8.
3rd down and 8.
2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Clock rolls. Lancers with the football. Doyle up under center. Hands the ball off to Watts.
Colby Watts on the carry.
4th down.
Tackle by Wogelman. No gain on the play. 4th down and 8.
Fourth down, and offense stays out there probably just to
run out the clock.
Run out the clock.
Run down the clock and then call timeout.
Yep.
20 seconds on the play clock. $1:50 now on the game clock. LaVille on top, 34-14 over Bremen.
Here comes number 4.
Very, very close to saying we can go to Walton, Indiana. We'll make sure it's a final score. Taking nothing for granted.
Timeout, LaVille.
Timeout, Lancers. So we're going to see what Coach Hostrauser decides to do here. If he's, in fact, going to say Leighton Zarnecki, go ahead and try the field goal, or he's already hit 5 this year. Leighton Zarnecki, 5 field goals, to my knowledge, is a school record for field goals in one season. He also broke the record for longest field goal. That was held by Joe Soselski, now held by Leighton Zarnecki. Looks like the little square is in hand, and Nathan Watts is going to go out. Put this one down at about the 26, 27, 27-yard line. So this will be a 37-yard field goal attempt for Leighton Zarnecki. Ball down, kick is up, and the kick is no good. Wide left. So Bremen will get the football at the 20-yard line with 1:28 to go.
Yeah, that's another miss for Leighton tonight. Not a whole lot of that we've seen this year. But if it's going to happen, I'm glad it's happening in a low-pressure situation as opposed to when we really need it.
Correct. First down, 10 at the 20.
Ball's at the Bremen 20-yard
Got to run out the final 1:28 of the game here. Bremen with the football. Nunemaker looks, pushed out of the pocket, throws the ball near side, and it is
Hunter
incomplete. Ball intended for Bennett, 2nd down and 10.
Is out of bounds and incomplete.
Took 6 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, I think a lot should be said about some of the effort that we've seen from a lot of these young men, Wildman, Bennett, Nunemaker, over
Absolutely.
and over.
1:22 to go. 34-14 in favor of LaVille. Winding down the final minute of this. There's a jump ball situation, tossed to the near side, and the ball is caught The ball is caught on the near side.
Pass complete to Huffman.
Sam Huffman,
The 42-yard line.
89 with the
First and 10.
22-yard catch.
That's a highlight reel catch.
Yes, it really was. First down and 10 at the 42-yard line. Emily.
Yeah, that was really a highlight reel catch. Seeing that come out here at the end of the game and still giving us all.
1:16 to go. Ball given to
again.
Wagaman, who gets near midfield. Second and 1.
Tackle by Evan Betcher.
Actually, second and 7, I'm sorry.
49-yard line.
That was a gain of 7, second and 3.
Second down and 3.
49-yard line.
Just under a minute to go here. I'm sure Bremen would like to get one more. This is their final game of the season.
This might be the last play of the game. Just depends. Nunemaker, near side, overthrown. Nope, it's not. It passes incomplete. Third down and 3. Ball to 49-yard line. So 35 seconds remaining.
And you can see that they're not sending as many back into the box. They're kind of putting them out into coverage now to try and prevent that pass. As opposed to looking for the sack or stopping the running play.
Single receiver to the left and the right for Nunemaker. He's going to hand the ball off one more time to Wogelman. Wogelman across the 50 to the 40. Stays in bounds, and he's going to drag 3 LaVille defenders down with him.
Connor Mangus coming up big at the end.
Wogelman on the carry. There's a flag on the play.
Are we calling this back?
Connor Mangus on the tackle.
Are we calling holding on Bremen?
It looks like it. The Bremen Lions are already walking the other way.
Our referee walks very slowly, holding against Bremen. He went out of bounds at the 12-yard line. So, but the flag comes back here at the 37 or 8 is where I'm seeing it on the far side of the field. We'll call that the 38-yard line. So that's going to give him 12, 15 yards.
And that's how we're going to end this one with that pass to Zach Miller.
By Connor Mangus.
That is the final score. LaVille 34, Bremen 14. A very spirited affair tonight here from Lancer Field. The Lancers will advance to the Class 2A Sectional 34 championship game, very possibly against Lewis Cass.
Stick with us. Let us compile some of our notes, look at some of the key plays and players, maybe run up some of our rushing and passing totals for each team. It'll take just a few minutes, and then we'll be right back here at LVH1.
I don't think of this as a high school weight room. It's more like a high school classroom. I'm learning how to manage my time here. I'm learning that it's important to have goals and that it takes persistence and commitment to reach them. And I'm learning that the best way to lead is by example.
Indiana High School Sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
A crisp October evening. A stadium filled with fans. A pass thrown. A journey completed. State of euphoria? No. The state of Indiana. High school sports. Pure spirit. Pure sport, pure Indiana. This message brought to you by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the high schools in your community.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana high school sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Indiana are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hey Lancer fans, advertising spots are available today with LVH1. Advertising with LVH1 at LaVille Junior Senior High School gives you business publicity with high school parents, fans, and families throughout the state of Indiana and beyond.
Advertisements can be provided by your business or made in-house by our mass media class at the high school.
All the funding goes directly to the student program and will help us gain hands-on experience in the broadcasting, video editing, and marketing fields.
If you're interested in advertising during athletic events throughout the year, please contact the broadcasting program at broadcasting@unorth.k12.in.us or call us at 574-784-3151.
Advertise today with LVH1, the voice of Lancer Nation.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Indiana. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Indiana High School Athletic Association and the Indiana Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Thanks for staying with us through the break. I brought in the doctor himself, Steve Cox, pulling triple duty now, so calling some plays for all the fans here and now for all the fans back home. It's good to have you. Is there anyone you wanted to say hi to?
How many fans back home? My wife's in Ohio. She's gone. I texted her, kept texting her the scores the whole time, and I never got one lick back from her, so I don't think she really.
It's because she was tuning in.
She was
watching us.
So. Well, tonight, final score, LaVille 34, Bremen 14. Lancers just played good solid football tonight. Lots of good offense, except for right before the second half, where Bremen put 5. Well, they just took the ball, and it was basically Bryce Wogelman left, right, and right up the middle, and went down and punched one in. And right before half, they gained a little momentum, but then second half, Lancers fought back and had the play that kind of turned the whole thing is where